Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Murasame Kai. One ridiculously cool looking design of a not Gundam. Even though this does look like a Gundam, it is not. It's black on red and white, and this is an incredible looking design. Anyway, today we're going to be building it, but before I do get carried away, I got mine right here through those awesome people over at Hobbylink Japan, so I will throw a link down there in the description. Now let's get this built. So getting the box busted open, and in here's the usual high-grade routine, the same amount of plastic, but there is one little, well, I guess odd thing in here. There is a little bit of an addendum to the actual manual. This is very rare for gunpla, but when you actually take a look in the manual, it is a very tiny aspect, and that is they just left out B120 from this little step right here. That is it, so not really a big deal. The mecha itself in here is made up of 9 runners. We do also have a pair of beams, mine were a little bit on the bent side, and we do have a sticker sheet, which for the most part isn't too bad, but we do have, well, 2 absolutely giant white stickers in here. And just jumping forward into the future a little bit, these are for around back on the wings. They're for a large piece that you wouldn't really notice too badly, has a sticker on it when it's popped on, so it's not really too bad either. So just out of sheer curiosity, I did start off this build with the waist unit, mainly because this is the one that has the misprint in the manual. Again, it's not a big deal at all, and not very confusing. This layers up super simply, and overall it is just par for the course for a simple waist unit, besides the fact we do have some nice rotating attachment points on the side skirtings. So this right here is what we get once the waist is complete. So you can separate out the little skirting armors so they can move independently, or you can leave them attached together. Around the back we don't actually have any grey armor to slot into any of these sections, so it does definitely look classic high grade. And speaking of classic high grade, the waist, or should I say the hip pegs in here are very well, they're just set in place. There is nothing really too new or exciting about them. No dropping mechanisms or nothing like that to them. Butt flap doesn't move around, and overall definitely quite simple, but in a way there's nothing wrong with that. Next up in here then is the legs. For the vast majority of these, you build both legs at the same time and they build up the same way. The only thing that's any different is the side armor around the calf areas. We've got a little bit of a frame to the upper section of these legs. The joint in the knee is quite unique because this grey section attaches in over. This kit does pack in a little bit of a transformation, a parts formation in this particular box, but we do have Zeta-esque, Z-defying bend knees. The armor builds on nicely, especially in the upper part. The build up in the feet is very nice, so we do have a toe bend in here, and all the parts build up super simply and smoothly. This section right here is where the legs kind of differ, so there's a left and right to the way these side armors build up. There's a nice ankle joint that has 2 points of articulation, a little bit of a teetering front armor section, and everything just sandwiches together in the end. We have a little bit of a wing from the sides of the legs as well, color separated into black and white, and overall this is what the leg looks like once it's done. And this right here is what we get once the leg is finished. Again, I love the predominantly white, grey, and black on this particular, not Gundam. I keep saying Gundam because of the head on this. This does feature a Zeta style transformation where the leg bends down like this. The toe bend is actually just downwards, which is good for flying Gundams and transforming Gundams, but doesn't have a, well, one that points up the way to give it a bit of a crouch. This is also part of the transformation, and overall, very nice. Full independent spin up on top as well, and overall, nice pair of legs. Like we've seen across this line, the torso is quite involved when it does come to the articulation. First up, we've got a little bit of a kind of rig that is the neck joint, and the arm joints, which all attaches together. Pretty much what we've seen across this line so far. The waist joint then is very impressive as well. The design gives us a nice ab crunch as well as a side-to-side crunch, and it's made up of a pair of joints inside of there. Both the neck rig and that waist slot then into the upper body where it closes over like a little bit of a sandwich, and we've got some nice color layering then for the chest segment, which all goes together very simply. Also involves a little bit of a rotating element in the upper chest, and overall very nice design, and you can see those M1 Astray callbacks. So there we go, that is what we get once the chest is complete. Like I mentioned, there is a kind of moving mechanism in the chest. It allows this section to drop down like so and rotate forward like that. That might be a little bit hard to see, but it works like that. The neck has a nice little joint in it. We've got those shoulders that pull out and in just like so, with a little bit of up and down. Ball joints again, just like this Seed Freedom line has had throughout the entirety. The color layering on the chest is extremely nice. I've got side to side on this, as well as a double crunch. So down here, as well as here, which moves backwards just like that. So far again, so good. Moving on to the arms, and these are pretty much identical besides the hands. First up, you build up the shoulders, again simple but effective in their design. We've got a nice cup and ball again for the shoulders, simple shoulder armor, and the whole thing attaches together nicely. When it comes to the actual arm, you build yourself a bit of a elbow joint, once again double jointed. The forearm just attaches on in 3 pieces, 2 side white pieces, held together then by a nice little red color separated section. Upper arm just slots on over old school style. Then you just pop on the hand and the shoulder like so. Simple. This right here is then what you get out of the arm. Again, very, very nice. The nice little splash of color here is nice. Comes with a little bit of a mold line on it, which is a little bit of a letdown, but not too bad. The hand is just the usual ball joint wrist. Nice double bend on that. Full rotation up top, and again, nice design on the shoulder. So the shoulder armor is separate from the actual shoulder unit, and we do have a little bit of a cup section there for those nice seed ball joint shoulders. Next up then, here we've got the head. This is simple, old school high grade, but in high definition. The eyes are not color separated on this, so you will need to paint them or use the included sticker. Everything builds up nicely. We've got a really nice muzzle on this. Everything's sandwiched together in nice little layers. And then we've got one interesting V-fin, which comprises of a little yellow section into the front of the head and one giant red V. Definitely some more astray right here. So this right here is the head on the kit, and this definitely is the crowning point for me, quite literally. That V-fin is ridiculous. Now I did actually cut off the safety flags on that, as well as on that little bit of a tertiary horn right there in white in the middle. Again, the eyes are a sticker. Thankfully, the little red section under the eyes is not. I did panel line the muzzle because it's easier to do that while actually putting the kit together, because it is easier to do that. But overall, this is one hell of a nice design. The black little bit of high impact contrast, very nice. So compared to the last Gundam that we did see on here, which was the Gundam EX, which came out on the same day as this is definitely more of a lot simpler of an assembly and build, which, you know, is not necessarily a bad thing. This is a transforming, or should I even say parts forming, mobile suit, so sometimes those can be a little bit too busy and too detailed, which can make them a little bit on the weak side. This is solid and feels great. And this right here is what we get once the Gundam is assembled. Again, it's not a Gundam, it keeps getting me with that super Gundam-y head. This is extremely nice. I haven't put the backpack on just yet, because I feel that really is what kind of changes it to a real transforming flight type Gundam aesthetically. I really wish I actually had a regular old Ale Striker pack lying around, because I think that would suit this so perfectly. Or the flight pack off of the M1 Astray, but I'm not sure if that actually comes off. Or am I thinking of the flight pack on the red frame Astray? Either way, the Ale Striker would work, but the one I have right now is set up as the perfect Ale Striker, which has too many colors on it. But overall, one nice looking Gundam. Not Gundam! Stop! So now moving on to the backpack, and the days of Bandai skimping on the backpacks on high-grade kits are well and truly over. There's, well, just as much love put into this as the Mecha itself. Everything builds up very nicely, there's a lot of layering parts, nice joints, everything's quite simple but at the same time very well color separated. Nice thrusters, we build up a couple of large and small missile units from the wings. The wings build up asymmetrically because they have different joints on the bottoms of each. But I will mention there are some large stickers for using in here. They're not the worst. They are very large and go on to big recessed areas, so they're not that noticeable really, as you'll see once it is attached on, which is right about now. And there we go, there is the backpack in all of its glory. So same matching black on white with grey and red color scheme we've seen so far. These missiles are not color accurate, these are just in a solid gray. If we take a little bit of a look at the manual right here, you can see that these are meant to have some red tips. Again, not the worst, that's just a 10-minute paint job right there, but besides that, the wings do look fantastic. There are 2 stickers I didn't use though. Actually, possibly 4, because I didn't use these white ones either. But the ones I did not use are these ones up here. These are those kind of green and red light kind of signals that are on airplanes or planes or aircraft in general. One signifies the left-hand side, the other the right-hand side of a vehicle. I do like these sort of things, but these are stickers that bend around corners, so I did avoid using them. I do have some red and green paint, so maybe. Overall though, this is very nice. The wings can spread out just like so. This little section has a little bit of articulation, not a whole lot. We've got a nicely color separated little bit of a cannon section right there. Very, very small, nice attention to detail. And again, these stickers do not look the worst. From the bottom, they can be peely a little bit. Not optimal, but not the worst. Let's get this attached on. So this just simply attaches onto the back of the Not Gundam, just like so, and adds some nice plane-esque-ness to it. This almost has a little bit of a Transformers or a Macross sort of vibe to it now. This is a really kick-arse design. So moving on to the equipment, and first up we have the beam rifle, which has a really cool name, which is Honoi Kazuchi. Fairly simple build to this, so it is 2 sides of a sandwich with a handle in between. Then you pop on a barrel and a side handle. When it's finished, we've got a nice thick beam rifle. It is all in the one color. It does have 2 moving parts, which is this side handle right here, and the handle as well tucks away for when it is in use for the flight form. This little segment right here with that little notch, that is how it attaches on, and it attaches on to the side skirts. Next up in here then is the beam sabers. These are super simple, but at the same time not completely simple. There's 2 actual segments to the beam saber themselves, and then the beam attaches in. This is what it looks like finished. My beams got bent in the box. You can actually fix this very easily. You just pop your beam into some fairly warm to hot water. Actually, I'd say hot water. Let them set in there for a little while to get a bit jellyish. Then take them out, straighten them out, and then let them cool down and they'll stay in position. Also, I will notice that these are not going to just slide into the Not Gundam's hands because we've got 2 thick ends. These actually have a separating center piece like that, and I will mention the beams are a little bit tight for the handles, which sometimes results in breakage. Next up in here is the shield. Again, a lot of detail and time has been put into the design of the actual equipment in this kit. It has as much detail as the mobile suit itself, again matching black, white and red color scheme. This is so similar to Zeta Gundam's shield or something like the Delta, or is it the Delta Plus, but that kind of Zeta and post-Zeta UC transforming suit that I forgot I wasn't building one of those. Nice detail, nice colors. This right here is what it looks like complete. These side segments do move out like so. They are a little bit easy to knock off. The attachment point is this little slot right here, but it's attached in via ball joint for some nice movement. Overall though, it doesn't do much else, but the color separation is incredibly nice. Last up in here is an interesting little bit of an aspect. Now this might make or break some people's opinion of this kit. This is a parts former, and this is the rack for parts forming onto. You do build this up out of a big, large central segment. There's a butt flap that attaches onto it. The whole front segment builds up as well, so it does mean you don't have to transfer a lot of parts from your finished robot onto this when parts forming it, which is nice. And we do have 2 of these little units which attach in under the wings as well. This right here is your little finished unit, and this I do love because you do have your full set of front skirts. Again, you can chop these off on the runner. They're exactly the same. They're just a duplicate of what's actually on the mobile suit itself. This section is a crotch. This is your new attachment point right here because this little segment is different from the other crotch. And then you'll just be taking a bunch of parts off the, I nearly said Gundam, not Gundam, to pop onto this for your flight form, which I will be doing in the actual full review. We also have 2 of these little segments right here which attach in under the wings, which probably make up for some of the missing parts of the Gundam that are meant to be transforming while it's transforming. So if you're hoping for a full transformer, this is not one. You do have to kind of mildly disassemble it and rebuild it together. So there is a little bit of a preview from the manual. So you do have to disassemble off all the limbs. When it comes to the torso, it looks like it's just the front that comes off. So again, nicely designed. That does make sense now how it kind of, the chest section built up as a whole different segment. the overall build doesn't seem too hard on that. Hopefully it will be nice, rock solid, and non-problematic. But anyway, yeah, that is it. So far, an absolutely beautiful looking Gundam with what looks like a nice, solid, simple parts formation. Anyway, if you do want me to mention anything in the review, let me know down there in the comments. I'll get to that as soon as possible, and always thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gundam build videos. Link to Hobby Link Japan down there in the description, and as always, I will see you next time. Once again, I kind of finished this video right here without thanking each and every one of you guys for watching my videos. That makes absolutely everything on here possible. If you don't want to support more interesting videos or just to improve the overall quality of the channel, you can help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. Patreon is really what does fund any and all improvements quality-wise to this channel. So a special shout out to Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Joe, RG59061, ShadowWolf179, Van Fawn, and Scotty Thomas. Link to join the Patreon and the Discord down there in the description.